So to start, I'm wondering if you guys can just tell me a little bit kind of about your involvement with this franchise. I mean, the books have been around for decades and decades. Were you guys fans of reading them growing up, or had you seen like any of the movies or the first season of the show prior to getting cast in this?
Yeah. I think like everyone on the show knew about Goosebumps, you know. No one
Yeah,
went in
no.
being like, "What's Goosebumps?" Right? Um, I read some of the books when I was younger. I watched the Jack Black movies, but I think once I got this role and like started really going out for it is when I like was like, "Okay, let's see really how much I know about this universe." And I did not know as much as I thought I did. It's
Yeah.
huge and it's ever like it's feels like everlasting. But it's amazing. And once I fully dove in, I wish I had known about it when I was younger. A younger me would have loved it because I've always loved horror and reading. But I'm so glad that I can be a part of it now. And yeah,
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm kind of just curious though, when you do get the part, how do you kind of prepare for that role? Do you guys go back and like reread or read for the first time a bunch of the old books or
Well,
well, we watched the first season.
yeah, of course you watched the first season of the show.
Yeah,
I think I think there's a bit of I mean, I got the part and I was like, "Oh, no, dude, I I have to be prepared. I have to, all these things."
Mhm.
But then, you read the script a bunch of times because this is ultimately what we're making now. You know what I mean?
right.
And Devin these are new characters.
Sure. Yep.
And it's like, okay, I can, dive into the lore a little bit, but then it's like I don't almost I think preparation extraneously, not even necessarily doing with what we're doing right now, becomes
Mhm.
a bit of preparation for the sake of preparation and becomes a source of tension in itself. And I think, at least for me, in any creative endeavor, tension is the enemy of what you might be trying to of channeling, just being relaxed, which allows you
Sure.
to create.
Sure. No, totally. And you guys, like I said, you guys are both so good in the show, and it's really fun to watch your characters and your dynamic. And you play siblings so believably. Like
Oh,
I
so
totally can believe you guys are related in real life. Just you capture it so well. I'm kind of just curious, how do you go about like capturing that on set? Was there a lot of like bonding and working together when the cameras were off too, or how did you play siblings so believably like that?
mm.
That's I'm so glad that it's coming off that way. Honestly I feel like
Yeah,
we
I'm
both
glad.
were like we. I mean, it's different than siblings, you know. When you're twins, it's like
Yeah,
okay,
you're locked
literally
in.
like one and a half of each other, you know.
Yeah.
But what's funny, actually, what you said reminded me that like not really while we were filming, but now afterwards, since
Mm.
we've wrapped, every time I see him, I'm like my twin, my brother, my
Yeah.
sibling.
No, there is it.
Which we never really did while filming, but I think that like I don't know,
I
it's
mean,
just it's
it was there, but it's also
but
it's
it's
like
we were so
you
in
have
it.
no idea what's you're in a
Yeah.
vortex filming a
But I
TV
feel
show.
like that's like how we created our relationship, so that's always what it's gonna be
Yeah,
to me,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
But it was so much fun. It was so much fun
yeah,
like playing a twin. I never thought I would be able to like play a
yeah.
twin, but it was really fun.
But you also
Yeah.
can't like do something to create that. It's
Yeah.
just like you know what I mean.
Yeah. There's no formula.
There's no
Sure.
formula for that.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of it comes from off the page too, and it's just you guys going back and forth kind of,
Yeah.
which again makes it all the more believable, more fun to see and watch you guys in there.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you about some of the rest of the cast too, because it's the thing I loved about these Goosebumps both seasons is the first one had Justin Long, and then this one you get David Schwimmer. And I mean, we
Yeah.
all know him as Ross from Friends, but what was it like working with him? Was that intimidating at all, or is he just like the most casual, laid back kind of guy?
He is the most casual, laid back
He
kind of guy.
is.
And it's funny because his
Yeah.
character on Friends is not. Like,
Yeah,
he's
I
like,
was expecting a little
oh, you're
more,
right. Because that's
but
all.
he was not.
Yeah, like when you
He was
think of,
so like
oh my God, he's very
so
grounded. And
chill.
yeah. Which is honestly like good though. He was so
Yeah,
nice
no,
and
it was
like,
good.
it was amazing to be around. And like you learn a lot from just being around that kind of energy and
Hmm.
seeing him like go from like when the cameras are on and like performing to his like grounded calm self is really really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, totally, totally. Sam, there's a really fun moment near the end of the first episode that involves you, some vines that have come alive, and when you're down in the sewer. I'm
Yeah.
kind of just curious what it was like to film that whole moment. Was any of that practical, or was it all special effects? And kind of
I mean, the
how did you do it?
dragging was practical. All of this stuff going on was totally special effects.
Mm,
There was a rubber band around my shins.
But
okay.
wait, there was one interview where you imitated what you had to do.
Oh yeah, but it was just like I can't do it again. But it's a really cool thing to do. It's kind of very much just like doing what little kids do all the time because it's like you watch kids play like the floor is lava, and occasionally they'll be like having a panic attack about hitting the floor. So it's really just about being sensitive enough to believe that this the camera in some of the cases or just that pink piece of tape is like you know gonna come kill me.
Right.
So you have to just it's really just about being willing to be young enough to be sensitive to that. It's
Sure.
cool. I'd never done
Oh, it
anything
was a
like that
really
before.
cool moment in the show. That's I didn't expect that, but I was loving it. It was a lot of fun to watch. Jaden, there's another part I want to talk to you in about episode 3. There's a couple scenes where I mean, the episode revolves around the haunted car, and you get to be in the haunted car for a little bit. What was that like? I mean, I'm assuming there was a stunt driver involved at some point, but were you actually ever in the car when it was like speeding off like that?
Yeah, so it's so funny because the that first of all, a scene like that, anything really with vehicles, especially when it's like vehicles that are crashing, takes forever, and it doesn't look like it because it's like 2 seconds. So
Mm.
I was in that car like for probably 3 days straight in like 3 different locations, and it's so cool to see it all come together and look so cohesive. But mainly, I was in that car in a room like this in front of a green screen,
Mm.
completely still with people on the bottom of the car shaking it with their bare hands.
I just
And
heard that
me,
today.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, and me, you have to put
crazy.
your whole body in to make it look like the car is moving. And it's a lot and it's fun. And also, a note I always got was I would go like this and they'd be like your double chin, like, because coming back. So yeah, it's fun and it takes a lot of imagination. And sadly, I didn't really get to be in a flying car whipping down the street. Um, but hopefully it looked like I actually was in one.
It did, and
Good.
totally.